talked about artificial intelligence actually for a long time. I mentioned it already in my first book that I published in 2010. And I've done a lot of presentations where I included also artificial intelligence. So today we're going to have a look a little bit at where it's going to have an impact in the whole food and agriculture sector, what kind of impact it can have, and towards the end I'll get a little bit more with some warnings from what I see at the moment, what's going on. We have to see artificial intelligence really as a tool. It's not going to be all that different than when we started to introduce software like word processing programs or spreadsheets. It's just another tool, more powerful, and we're all going to have to learn to work with it, and it's going to make our lives easier. There's going to be a learning curve, it's alright. There will also be improvements in the kind of software. You can be sure that in 6 months from now or a year from now there's going to be a very different learning curve, it's going to be a different way of using. Those software are probably going to be a lot more user-friendly than they are today. So it's going to come very, very smoothly. Even if you have the feeling you're a little bit behind, don't worry, you're going to catch up pretty quickly. An important thing about artificial intelligence, of course, is what kind of information, what kind of data it uses. I would say, to make a comparison with food, basically you are what you eat, and yeah, if you don't feed the system with good information, the outcome is not going to be very good. It's also going to depend a little bit on the source. And yeah, if you go on the internet where there is all sorts of things and the opposite of everything and a bunch of nonsense next to facts, then of course the result might be a little confusing. The first real role that we can expect from artificial intelligence is to play the role of an assistant. I mentioned that already in the previous video, the one that was about intensification and efficiency. And yeah, we're going to see that. It's going to basically do a whole bunch of tasks that take a lot of time, not the most exciting ones, where you have to already review a whole bunch of data and also analyze and reformat it and prepare reports. So that's preparation work is going to be done by artificial intelligence, but of course it's obvious that it's going to have to be proofread, it's going to have to be reviewed by somebody who understands all the information and the outcome, and also readjust if needed. In terms of operations, and in the case of agriculture, I think this is going to be a great boost to precision agriculture, because like I mentioned in many of my presentations, more than 10 years ago, what we have been building in the past were basically muscle with all the machinery. This time what we're building is a nervous system, and all the devices that collect data, like drones, sensors, satellites, you name it, they all bring that information. And what we were kind of missing was the brain, and artificial intelligence is going to be that brain that's going to gather all that data, going to process it together, bring an outcome, and I think in the future also going to be able to direct other machines, robots, and so on to do the work. So this is going to save a lot of time, and this is going to be a lot more precise than what we have today. So this is a very good improvement, in my opinion, for agriculture. In the food manufacturing, I think this is going to be a great way of reducing waste, really improving the operations, improving the processes, being a lot more smooth and streamlined in the future, and so increase efficiency of food manufacturing. And it's the same thing in the feed companies, just the same. Organizing the deliveries, organizing the supplies, organizing the shipments, and all the logistics. This is going to be really a very strong improvement, and probably with a lot less people as well. So, but the people will have different jobs in the future. That's clear. In the area of quality control and quality assurance, this is also going to change quite a few things. I remember, I believe it was in 2013, I did a presentation about my view of the future of quality control, and one of the things I was saying is at some point we will be able to have 100% quality control real time, and it will be on physical aspects, on product specification, on let's say foreign materials, on bacteriological things, control of DNAs to make sure that the product you buy is exactly what you bought. It's not a different species or a different product, and that's going to be very useful. And I think we're going exactly in that direction with artificial intelligence. In the area of sales, well, this is going to be a big change. First, from the selling process itself. I think in particular for commodities, what we're going to see is the traders being replaced by artificial intelligence. I remember a few years ago, Wall Street had started actually to recruit coding experts instead of new brokers. And I think that with algorithms, this is going to replace a lot of the selling activity for commodities at the very least. When it comes about customer relationship management, well, there are a number of software, but quite frankly, I'm not sure that companies really got the best out of it. With artificial intelligence, with the ability of processing all the information that you have on customers and offering them tailor-made solutions, this is going to really improve the level of efficiency of your sales, but also the level of service to your customers, and therefore also the loyalty of your customers toward your company. At the consumer level, and especially at the level of retail, this assistant is going to be in your pocket. Basically, I think it's going to be able to interact a lot more with the products, interact with your shopping. I think also the retailers will have more possibilities to give you shopping tips by knowing what you buy on a regular basis or what kind of products you're interested in. And there are already programs like this, but I don't know what your experience is with it, but is it on Google Ads or is it on Amazon or wherever? When they give me recommendations, I'm always kind of surprised because I don't even know how they figure that I might be interested, and well, every time I'm not interested. So I think artificial intelligence is going to improve the accuracy of that kind of recommendation. I also see in the future the ability of having more tips about, you know, how to make sure not to waste food at home, how to make sure that you buy better foods, you are going to have menu ideas. So because one of the issues for consumers, you know, what are we going to eat tonight? And then I think artificial intelligence is going to be able, either it comes from the retailer or it comes from the consumer itself, but it's going to really bring some new ideas and a lot of convenience, and also help consumers making the right choices and being able to buy their food on time and prepare good meals. Altogether, I think what artificial intelligence is going to do is to help to shift a number of activities in business and in sales and in consumption away from the emotional and more towards the rational, although of course with artificial intelligence you can also organize marketing campaign in a different way and also adjust the kind of message that you want to bring in your advertising, more of course on the emotional level as well. But to make decisions, especially in business to business, that's really going to remove a part of the emotional process and really focus on rational and really objective parameters, and that's going to definitely improve the way we can run a business. Well, in research, this is also going to play a role, of course, because in research, well, you have a lot of data and you run a lot of statistical tests. So it's going to be able to speed up quite a bit of research and hopefully also help making good decisions, making the right choices, the right strategies to develop, for instance, new species, new varieties of plants. And then the result of all those tests, of course, then you can process them and have results and more reliable results of your research faster. But I would say, like I said earlier, we have to be careful about what kind of data we use, because the system is going to use the data we give them. So depending on what kind of information you feed the system, you're going to have different views. And of course, there is always the risk of putting a bias voluntarily or involuntarily in the system, and then your outcome might not be actually as accurate as you would like. And yeah, all around business, so we've seen quite a few bits of the whole value chain here. I think when it comes to supporting staff, for instance, well, I've known a lot of people who are doing nothing else than reviewing numbers and making little graphs and charts. I think artificial intelligence is going to be able to do that. So I expect that the level of staff in companies is going to, number of employees is going to drop. I've seen recently a nice little video, was kind of interesting, was the CEO of Nestle who was playing with artificial intelligence, and without moving he was changing scenery and was very cute. And he was also in his boarding room, and next to him there was a robot and there was nobody else. So I don't know if he thinks that maybe in the future he's just going to deal with a robot and he won't have to deal with the whole board and all the executives. Maybe the executives will be gone, I don't know, but I would be very careful if I were a CEO to really think that way, because the next step might be that the robot's going to replace the CEO as well, so be careful. I would say for consultants, same thing. You know, I already see so many reports that basically it's copy and paste. It's like the same person has written several reports for different organizations. I was mentioning also in another video that that study from Harvard, that the mediocre consultants, thanks to AI, were having a boost in performance was much more significant than the best ones. But you know what? I don't think that using AI to increase the level of your employees is necessarily the best solution. A mediocre employee with artificial intelligence is still a mediocre employee, and I think companies should be very wise in the future to still focus on having talent. And if you have to use AI, well, have an intern, have somebody that is at low level, but don't think that you're going to keep the same employees and just by adding AI all your problems are going to be solved. I think that would be a mistake. And then, yeah, another area, but which is also about writing reports and things, is in journalism. I see more and more articles, frankly. And I suspect it's probably written also with artificial intelligence already. When I do a search, you know, I do on Bing, and there's Copilot appearing, I almost have already a compilation of what I need. I'm not sure that for journalists that's a good thing if they want to use only AI to do something. They're going to have to add a personal touch. They're going to have to add something that's original, because if you just do a review and just rehash what has been already said and written a million times, that's not going to be good. And an example also I could mention is on LinkedIn. I've seen lately a lot of posts that are clearly written with AI, and first I wonder, to write a little post that's that long, do you really need artificial intelligence? And the problem is they're very easy to recognize somehow. You know, there is no music in the text. It's very robotic, which can make sense, and it's just bullet points of platitudes and banalities. And I've kind of already removed a whole bunch of individuals because I don't see the point. It's a waste of my time. I don't gain anything from that. So I'm not sure that artificial intelligence is a great way to use on LinkedIn if you don't bring your personal touch, personal experience, something that is of a different level than what we have already heard and seen and read everywhere. Yeah, as a final recommendation, I would say, if you think AI is going to fix all your problems, going to do your work for you, then one thing is sure, then AI is going to replace you. We're going to have to work differently. Like I said, AI is an assistant, and we're going to have to basically play at a higher level, and that doesn't surprise me. That's pretty much what I was writing already in my first book, and I've been repeating all along in almost 15 years. Basically, yes, we're going to have a combination of, let's say, robots and people working together, and it's going to have to manage it differently. But the role of humans is going to change, and well, it's a good thing, I think, for a lot of people, because the job is going to be about more responsibility, more creativity, more supervision, instead of doing very repetitive and boring tasks. But we're going to have to change a little bit the way we think here. So also in our brain, things need to change.
If you're interested in my videos, please click on the subscribe button below, or you can also visit my website.